Okay, I think I just fixed my sound problem. So check it out, guys. I've been talking away and button wasn't pushed. So, okay, catching up with all of you. This is from my new home studio. And I thought this week catch up on some of the watch goings on at Little Treasury. And the news of the week is that we just received the new Omega Moon Watch Master chronometers, and I think I'll show you some of those. And okay, sound is good now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so still having technical issues. So these watches update the Speedmaster Moon Watch, which has been a staple, one of the main staples of the Omega collection. And they have been updated with new movements, new case, and new bracelet, and honor the prior versions, but a real step up in my mind in terms of design and performance. So let's take a look at these watches and switching over. So the one on the strap is the new so-called sapphire sandwich. It has a sapphire crystal in the front and sapphire crystal in the back. And next to it is the prior version with a Hesselite crystal, and sort of let you take a look and compare those. I don't think you can see too well what's going on here, just because of the lighting. But the prior version that we're looking at here has a pretty much of a flat dial. And the new version has what they call a stepped dial. So I don't know if you can see here that around here there's the curvature of the dial turns down and gives it a lot more articulated look to it. So it's a subtle little step up that they've included. So okay, so let's catch up with from Carlos is a Marathon Key now. You're all over the place, my man. And loved the Bob Kemper video last week. Didn't see it, don't know what that is. And okay, do the new bracelets fit on the previous model? That I cannot tell you. We haven't had much of a chance to play with them. We've just gotten these in. And Eduardo's asking, is there a red light in my room or is that the camera? There's a blue tint in the background on one of the lights to make it cozier. And okay, so catching up here. So let's, since you're asking about the bracelet, let's look at that. So the prior bracelet is a fairly chunky affair, not tapered, as you can see. And the newer bracelet, on another piece I have here, is much more supple and is tapered. And so it's a very different setup, I would say, and hopefully that's in okay focus. Let me bring that forward a bit. There you are. And the it tapers from 20 to 15 millimeters, and it has a new clasp, much smaller, and has these lines on it. So it's designed quite a bit differently, and as you can see, it's very supple, and whereas the other one is just more of a chunky kind of setup. So I have a photo I'll show you of what this looks like a little closer. So here's something we got from Omega. You can see the clasp here and the lines on the clasp and the detailing of the bracelet. Okay, so and they're commenting it's similar to what they had in their 50th anniversary Apollo 11 Moonshine Gold. Okay. So I wonder what you think about that. Carlos likes the new bracelet. Yeah, it's much lighter, gives a very different feel to the watch. And yes, Gipu, it's quite a taper. It's actually a bit of a statement, I would say. So in terms of adjustment, it looks like you have just about a millimeter or so able to move the spring bar, but otherwise it's going to be in terms of switching out links, adding, subtracting links. So not super adjustable. So, and Kyle really likes the new clasp, I would agree, and much more desirable, says Eduardo. They need to do that to the Seamaster Professional. That's a good idea too. And a good point, Booser, that it does sort of look like an Art Deco. At least the stripes on the clasp do have an Art Deco kind of sense to it. So yeah, and Carlos loves Art Deco. I do too, as a matter of fact. I've collected a number of Art Deco posters over the years, not actively anymore, but yeah, very interesting period, great design. And so let's just declare this Art Deco. Okay. So that is what's going on with the bracelet. And let's look at some other things from their little handout here. So let's look at the models that in the new collection here. So this is the so-called the Hesselite model, which has the Hesselite crystal and solid caseback, and it is still 42 millimeters, and they all sport the new movement, the 3861 movement. That is a master chronometer and has manual wind master chronometer with a 50-hour power reserve and accurate to +5 seconds and -0 in terms of accuracy. So very accurate, excellent new movement, extremely resistant to magnetism, and when we scroll down into the other models, you'll see it's a very attractive piece. So note the price on the bracelet model with the Hesselite crystal and solid caseback. It's $6,300. There has been a price increase to be expected, especially with the addition of the new movement, the 3861 caliber. Okay. And moving up, this is the Hesselite with this one has a fabric type strap on it, very different, and it comes in at $59.50. Otherwise, the same. Okay, and I have an example of that with the clasp that I can show you. So let me put that up. So here is the clasp on the strap of the new one. Okay, so this strap also is tapered and very tidy little folding clasp with the Omega on it, And excuse my dog that's barking to get into the room. I think you probably can hear her. Very annoying dog. We'll bring her on someday. Okay, let's move down the list here. This is the so-called sapphire sandwich model that I showed you first, and it has obviously the case back showing the beautiful new movement, 3861 movement, and this one is showing the bracelet in a little more close up than I'll be able to show you. And this comes in at 7150. Okay. And we're looking now at the one on leather strap, and this is the same sapphire sandwich with that strap, and coming in at $6,800. So that is the lineup and the price structure for these. So let's see. And going back to the comments, we have the suggestion that it be done to the Seamaster Professional as well. And the bracelet on the Seamaster was the breaking point for me. And okay, and am I too young because I don't know what Art Deco is? Haha, you must be quite young. So, and never is one too young. Haha. Okay. And why are people asking $8,000 for these secondhand? This is Booser. Can you elaborate on that? Perhaps these are, they can't be secondhand yet. They've just been released. So that brings up the question of the prior versions. They are going to be phased out with the older movement, and there are some still available. And I think by summer they will be totally gone. And so maybe some of those might be deemed collectible by people who prefer that look and like the older movement. And that might be what you're talking about. Maybe can you elaborate on that, please, Booser? Okay. And Pelosi's dentures. My owner would have put that dog into the freezer with the ice creams. Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like it. The dog is pretty rambunctious. So this is my lineup for the what's going on with Omega right now. And we have 3 of the 4 variants in. We do not have the new bracelet on the sapphire sandwich in yet. That should come in shortly, but we do have the first 3. Interestingly, our rep had mentioned that we got ours before he had actually seen them or actually held one. So we feel we got them fairly early on, and invite those of you who are local, come in, take a look, try them on, see if you want to do something. Okay? So what else is going on? A lot of the brands are awakening, and instead of obviously having a Basel World or any other kind of in-person event to announce the novelties for the year, most of them are doing some kind of a Zoom or other shared video type event, and pretty much not doing anything in person. And so this week and the next couple of weeks, we're sort of booked up with these Zoom type presentations, and we'll be getting the lists of what's coming up, and putting in our orders. So something's coming up like that with Seiko, Bremont. We have something scheduled. Grand Seiko later in the month. We'll have some kind of announcement, and I've heard hints of some interesting pieces that are coming, and I think there'll be quite a bit of new news coming out on that end. And of course, we just had an announcement with Oris last week of the new dive watch in bronze, which is beautiful. And back to our comments. Okay, some gray market dealers were listing these way over retail on eBay. So any valid authorized dealer is going to be selling them at list or offering some kind of a benefit, and will not be advertising them as over list price. And remember that Omega now has a 5-year warranty, and if you want to take advantage of that, it does need electronic registration through an authorized dealer, so be forewarned. And Booster loves those Omega clasps, and they are nice. And how is the availability of those Omegas? Well, we've just gotten our first shot, 3 out of the 4 new ones. We have several more on order, and I think that the initial round will be scooped up fairly quickly, and time will tell about the release of the follow-on shipments. We've had a number of models of Omega backed up a bit, and there's scarcity among some of the core type pieces that probably is still due to some of the ramifications of COVID. A lot of the brands have been backed up either through closures, especially during the summer, or sometimes even into the last couple of months of the manufacturing facility, and definitely availability of components has stalled a number of brands. And okay, so speculating by Eduardo, perhaps they're simply listing them. I guess that's the gray market people. And when someone bought it, they would have to go source one. Yeah, well, I think for a while it's going to be difficult. And that's sort of an interesting point. From time to time, or actually not too infrequently, I see some Grand Seiko models being listed in the gray market marketplaces, way over list, and they're available from dealers, and I have no sense of what's going on there, if they ever sell them or what. But things like the Snowflake, which are sometimes out of stock, but they're available, and people charging hundreds of dollars over list just doesn't make sense. Maybe someone in the comments can explain that to me. Okay. Tanzeel, new name to me. How many Ed White 321s did you guys get? My AD was supposed to get one in December, but they haven't seen theirs yet. Well, we're in the same spot as your AD, and we've been repeatedly warned that these are essentially put together by one person, and they're going to be dribbled very, very slowly. And if anyone knows of people who've received any, I'd be curious to hear what's happened. They'll probably first go out through the boutiques. Okay. Or so they tell you, Tanzeel, says Eduardo. Perhaps some Rolex shenanigans. Yeah. So the Rolex shenanigans are, in fact, frustrating a lot of people, and it's driving a good number of them to our Grand Seiko showcase. This is a discussion we have daily with folks. Okay. And Tanzil says that he's good friends with the people at the boutique. They would tell him straight up. And I guess that's about the 321s, perhaps. So, okay. So that is what we have going. And thought I'd just update you on this. We'll try to do these a little more frequently and more briefly. I'm finding a lot of traffic at the end of the day in the store, very difficult to get out. I had planned to do something Wednesday, then Thursday, and a couple of people show up at 5:30, and of course we stay with the customers and serve them first. So today, Craig gave me a good goose, and I came home, and of course then I have my barking dog taking care of business here. So, and question, Tanzil is in the wrench gang. Gipu, I don't know about that. I don't manage the wrench gang. And Carlos, everybody has a wrench. Okay. Booser is mentioning the Seiko Prospex line, and indeed liking it. And the Prospex are red hot as well. And we've had a great expansion of sales over the past year, and many at the substantial price points of the SLA series and LXs or whatever. So people are really going for quality and the rarity of the limited editions. And on our end, it's a issue of supply, of bringing in pieces that people are asking for. The SPB series, the 149, 143, 145, I think we presented these a while back. Again, super hot. Some are totally gone, and we get inquiries every day. Okay. And Tanzil has an opportunity to put a deposit on the new Moon Watch. Boutique claiming March shipment. How accurate are shipment estimates? Worth putting a deposit or just waiting for shipment? Well, I'm surprised the boutique doesn't have any. Perhaps they've sold their copies that they've received already. I'm happy to sell you a Moon Watch tomorrow. So I have no idea what the distribution situation is with their boutiques. And I'm surprised that they're talking about March for shipment. Tanzil, have they had a shipment and sold out to your knowledge, or they haven't received any at all? And I hark back to my comment about my rep who said he hadn't actually had one in his hand, and we got them prior to his getting to handle one. So perhaps we're on the early edge. I hope so. So the three pieces I have here are available. We have everything but the sapphire sandwich on the bracelet at the moment. So we can handle that. Okay. And if I may ask, where is your boutique? Where are you talking about? Oh, okay. So he's in a smaller area in Canada. So that's a different market, and they may be experiencing something different than we do here. So, but again, you're probably better off just buying up there, given the duty situation. I think it's fairly stiff when watches are shipped to Canada, and probably can't offer you much of a deal coming out of the chute here. So that is that. And Chris will be doing a show on the Speedmasters. Yeah. He was going to finish. He's taken this set home a couple of days this week. And I sort of grabbed it from him because I wanted to do something with you folks. And So he'll pick them up again tomorrow, finish them over the weekend, and the thing should appear, I think, Monday. And he's been doing a great job. For those of you who haven't been following our Chris and his produced videos that are on the Little Treasury channel, YouTube channel, you ought to take a look. They're done with good humor, but also full of all the specs that you're going to want, and some that aren't typically put out there, and some really wonderful photography. He's even gotten high praise from some of the manufacturers, saying, we spend $10,000 for a photo like this, and take a look. And if you can't find it, just reach out to us, info@littletreasury.com. We'll send you the links to take a look. It's also on our website under blogs. We post all of those things up there. So, okay. And Carlos, thanks for the nice comment. And yeah, and it's true that it's not going to make sense to ship something like this to Canada if it's going to be available there. Steve wouldn't do anything nefarious like smoking a watch inside a teddy bear package. Yeah, I think I probably would not. And Eduardo got charged $1,000 US, $1,000 in duties this week for his new watch. What was that new watch, Eduardo? That sounds like a hefty piece. And I would put it inside a Trumpy bear. No, I'd put it inside Trumpy. And okay, so with the Moon Watch now, this is Tanzil again, now a chronometer and certified to 15,000 Gauss through Metas. Is the mil Gauss still relevant compared to these Omegas? Well, there's certainly this wonderful new movement, the high accuracy, and now the anti-magnetism, and the iconic appearance of these things. It's a tough competition, I would say. And I think Omega's done some fabulous stuff with their materials to reduce any magnetism without resorting to shielding and just building it right into the components. And Booster feels the Railmaster is just a bezel-less Seamaster. Interesting comment. Okay, Booster asks, when shipping watches out, is there a carrier you prefer using? Okay, that's a great question, very timely. Up until November, we were pretty much trying to use the U.S. Postal Service registered express, mainly on advice of our insurance carrier who specializes in jewelry. And they strongly claimed that the loss experience with the post office was far better than the private carriers. Well, we started finding packages, and I'm sure that many of you had the same experience. We're starting to take longer and longer, and we found also that with the post office during this period, and we were finding that they weren't consistently scanning in our shipments so that we could track them. And in some cases, we had packages that were showing as still at our local post office and actually had already been delivered to the customer, and the tracking never caught up. So extreme disappointment with what's going on there. And so now we're shipping with FedEx or United Parcel Service, and just sort of picking the best price and best situation depending upon where we're shipping, and that's pretty much all around the country right now, and to a number of overseas countries. And we use DHL occasionally too for that purpose. So, and okay, Eduardo got a 90s Datejust. The Seamaster didn't quite make the cut. Okay, and what do I feel that Omega can do better to improve the prestige of the brand? Many collectors feel the brand devalued itself from the oversupply hitting the grays a few years back on the Moon Watch. Okay, so we have not been a dealer for many years. I think it's more like 14 months or so with Omega, and not too familiar with that kind of thing, but to improve the prestige of the brand, I think they've done a wonderful job with their movements. It's very hard to fault them in that regard. I think the improvement on the bracelet for the Moon Watch, the wearability compared to the prior is outstanding. And so in terms of these elements, they're coming a long way. I think availability I'm afraid that some of the frustration around things like the Snoopy and some of the other models is reminiscent of our crowned friends, and I would hope they would avoid that. I think it's people need to have a certain amount of predictability when they're looking for the more desired pieces. And Eduardo with his laughing less limited editions, that could be true as well. And I see waste of taxpayer money. That's probably back in the post office, isn't it, Gipu? NPR is a waste of taxpayer money. Okay. Is the new Chronomat with bullet bracelet the hottest Breitling? We are very new dealers. I cannot really tell you that. We're really in the process of introducing the brand to our customers. We're just 2 months in, and I will have to comment on that at a later date. Okay. And so this is what's going on. I think that I'm going to wrap it up. This was designed to be just sort of an announcement type thing. I hear dinner being brought out and getting close to on the table, so I'm going to take advantage of that and scoot. So if you enjoyed it, please like it. Love to hear some comments about how you'd like to see our stream go. Whether it's having more guests on, more watch content, getting out into other areas, and love to do that. I'll follow up now with a couple of things that are kind of showing up though first before I depart. And what do I think about Rolex? That's a big topic. I think they are. The watches themselves, I think, are extremely refined in terms of wearability. I mean, they've been very incremental in terms of their changes, and they've sort of tailored them to for really maximal comfort and wear. They could be refinished readily. I think some of the paranoia we have with our Grand Seiko finishes, maybe you wouldn't experience with Rolex. They have marketed themselves supremely well and positioned themselves very carefully. They tended their brand image like no one else, and you have to hand it to them. So in that sense, they're the whole package. But whatever they're doing in terms of distribution, to their retailers and their end customers is making a lot of people very unhappy, and to the point of are frequently hearing people just saying we're tired of it and we're moving out to another brand. And often in our store, that brand is Grand Seiko, and people are converting. So that's it. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you all coming. Again, if you have some suggestions for us for what you'd like to see, please put them down in the comments below. And you all have a good evening, or whatever time it is, wherever you're watching. And also comment on time of events. We've slipped to after 6 p.m., and that's part to accommodate my new studio here and not having to come home from work. But if you need another time slot or you think it's better, I'd like to hear that as well. Okay? So with that, I'm signing off. Take care and good evening.